If the curtains are red, they are just red. My god, it's like being back in English class. Maybe he just likes red, it's not some secret message. So I get this kind of comment occasionally, usually from people who seem to be reacting less to what I'm saying and more to a general frustration with the opaque and sometimes arbitrary nature of art criticism. You get told in school, this color means that thing and that color means this thing, and you're just sort of supposed to accept that, yes, the fact that the curtains are blue in this scene means that it's a metaphor for depression, and if you don't say that on the test, you're gonna get an F. Now, I do think this is more of an American thing, or at the very least, I was never taught that way. In school, we were taught about possible interpretations and then learned to make arguments for our own. So we'd be told, hey, the blue can be interpreted to be a metaphor for depression here, but what else could it mean? And if we said, the blue is not a metaphor for anything, it's not important at all, that was also accepted as an answer. We just had to be able to build a cogent argument for why based on the text itself. And I will say, you do not need to do my kind of analysis in order to enjoy or understand art. Analyzing things the way I do doesn't make anyone smarter or more sophisticated or better than anyone else, it's just one way to approach it. And if it works for you to understand the Red Nesterian's character design as an expression of the character's preference, then that's valid. That's a perfectly reasonable way to understand the character. But let me expand a little bit on reading color and character design and how I do it, and maybe that will make it a little bit easier to understand why I find this meaningful. And we'll use a pretty simple example for this: Star Wars. So first, why are Sith lightsabers red? There's a bunch of convoluted lore explanations for why on Wikipedia, but much more fundamentally, why are Sith sabers red while the Jedi generally use blue and green sabers instead? Well, it's because that bright blood red looks kinda evil, especially next to the pitch black robes that Sith always tend to wear, and where red is associated with blood and anger and passion, blue and green are generally felt as much more placid, calm colors, the color of plants or the sky. Similarly, the Jedi all tend to wear brighter colors like earth tones, brown or cream, or just straight up white, because those are brighter colors and they're associated with light and nature, while pitch black is associated with darkness. Which is why Anakin starts in Episode 1 wearing the same cream, white, and brown earth tones as the Jedi. In Episode 2, he wears much darker tones and even a fully black vest over his robes. And come Episode 3, he starts out still wearing a bit of brown, although it's almost overtaken by the black, and his fall is completed when he is enclosed in the fully pitch black sarcophagus of the Darth Vader armor. It looks cool, and it's generally just the color that the Sith prefer, yes, but the black is also a metaphor for his depression, for all the anger and fear and unresolved trauma that drives the character to fall, and which takes over his character design more and more as the story goes on. Or at least that's one interpretation. Understanding colors and character design this way, at least to me, makes my experience of the movies I watch richer and more fun. It invites me to play in my head with thoughts of how I might use color to support a character's story, or what Anakin would feel like as a character if his color language was totally different. For me, this kind of analysis is a way to drive and improve my own creativity, and a way to get more enjoyment out of the media that I already like, or understand why I dislike the media that I don't. That is why I find it meaningful.